Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's with their time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Chants of Sennaar. What if Duolingo was a puzzle game? I mean, it kind of is for me. I'm terrible at languages. But Chants of Sennaar aims to make this a reality. Is this a great game or lost in translation? Let's find out. Chants of Sennaar is a puzzle and adventure game around using context clues to translate languages, which you then use to solve even more puzzles while trying to climb the Tower of Babel, essentially. And I did absolutely my best to get footage that doesn't spoil puzzles here, but it's almost impossible, so just be warned, if you're a super observant guy, you might accidentally spoil one or two small things. On the surface, gameplay here is very simple. You're tossed into the bottom of a tower and have to make your way up 5 sections, with each group of people in each section having their own language that you have no idea what any of it means. However, through conversations, observations, and context clues, you can slowly begin to piece together what symbols mean and what words, and how it grammatically fits together to form meaning. Where Chance excels is how it lets you take notes. When you discover new symbols, you automatically put them in your dictionary, and you can at any time write or change what you think is the correct translation of said symbol. When you interact with it again, it'll show you the proposed translation, which ties into the other part of figuring this language out, inference and context clues. See, while I often get nouns right the first time, verbs, adjectives, or other more complicated words can be trickier. However, since you can rewatch dialogue or reread engravings with your proposed translations, sentences will begin to unravel, and even if you can't guess exactly what every symbol means, the intent will translate, often allowing you to continue on the adventure game portion of the journey. If this sounds complex, it actually really isn't, and thankfully every handful of symbols you get, your character will draw illustrations representing various things, and should you match all the symbols on a page correctly, the game will confirm them. It's similar to how Obra Dinn did it with its crewmates, and it works well here. Outside of translating languages, there's plenty of adventure game style challenges, as well as a few stealth sections. In the military society, you may need to remember what they wear to disguise yourself as one of them, or in the artist society, you'll need to traverse a maze of sewers where the lower class lives. The final test is found in fast travel terminals, where you'll attempt to translate from one tower's language to another to facilitate communication. These are by far the funnest and most challenging portions of the game, so it's a shame there's only a few of them. And that is Chants of Sennaar, an adventure puzzle game focused on language, where you can get that awkward feeling of visiting a foreign country again and again. So what did I like about Chants of Sennaar? Well, I loved learning this game's languages. It scratches an itch you get from Obra Dinn or Portal when confronted with a complex puzzle with almost no hints, and still being able to chunk it out and then solve it completely on your own. It's brain candy. Additionally, the game has an excellent ramp up when it comes to increasing the translation difficulty between each worlds. Changing the order of subject and verb, or how to convey negatives versus positives, makes the later languages fun to translate and fresh. And lastly, this game's larger themes about connecting and bringing people together was just fantastic. I'm as cynical as they come these days, but an experience where you can use communication to help facilitate divides in culture and differences in people was a breath of fresh air and made me feel hopeful. When it comes to the bad, this game's stealth sections just suck, straight up, especially the second zone. I understand wanting to add more dynamic gameplay, but it feels out of place and isn't fleshed out. Additionally, while the language puzzles are fantastic, the world puzzles are hit or miss, and often the zones are so sprawling and big to show off their grandeur that you'll have to walk for several minutes to discover you incorrectly guessed a puzzle solution, and now you get to walk back. That sucks. And lastly, the game is just a little too easy when it comes to letting you brute force some of its solutions, and this is exacerbated by the illustrations meaning to explain the words you're identifying often being confusing or vague. I'll admit I had to guess several times because I couldn't figure out what the picture was trying to convey. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Chants of Sennaar is that perfect puzzle game for me, filling that void that Return of the Obra Dinn left after I beat it. It has a wonderful mix of non-linear exploration and low guidance that leads to immense satisfaction solving its puzzles, and this is paired with a charmingly subtle story about words bringing people together. So if you have any affinity for puzzle games, you need to play Chants of Sennaar. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played or heard of Chants of Sennaar and you speak a foreign language, I can only speak small snippets of like 5 or 6, so if I get dropped in a foreign country, I'm basically screwed. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments, and then go out there and make sure you give Chants of Sennaar a look.